that feeling when you want to go in a new direction in your life or make a change or learn something new and you have absolutely no idea how to even begin? I know that feeling, and today I'm going to share a story with you about this, and it's the story about how I accidentally became a music video producer. Knowing a lot about music, I've been a singer-songwriter for many years, but knowing virtually nothing about music videos. And I want to share with you the 3 steps that I learned that I think we can each use in our own lives when we want to bring change to it or do something new. So it was about 4 years ago, I noticed that music videos were doing much better over social networks than sound files were, right? We share YouTube videos all the time. When's the last time you shared a sound file on Facebook, right? So as a musician, I knew that I had to start making music videos, but I couldn't afford to pay anybody to do it. I knew absolutely nothing about it. I knew nothing about how to do it, and I didn't know anybody who knew anything about it. So I thought, who's in my network? And I thought of Michael and Daphna, because they both have backgrounds in video. They had a video camera, and they're always up for anything fun and creative, right? So I called them and I said, hey guys, would you please help me put a music video together? And even though they themselves knew nothing about music videos either, they said, of course. So I spent a few weeks studying music videos, and it seemed like if we could somehow get footage of me singing this song in a few different locations and somehow come up with some other relevant footage and figure out how to put it all together, then we'd have something resembling a music video. So we made a plan, and we met by a beautiful river near our homes. It was just at sunrise. It was beautiful. It was freezing. It was the first snowfall of the year, and we decided to go for it anyway. And my nose was bright red. I didn't know you're supposed to bring makeup to cover up that kind of thing. I could hardly hold my guitar. It was so cold. But we did it. We spent a few hours there. We shot this video, and then the next week, we shot more footage in a different location. And then we looked at all this footage and we're like, what do we even do with this? None of us knew how to make this into a music video. So I went to their house after dinner one night, and we literally went frame by frame, measure by measure, just feeling it out, talking it out, trying to figure out what would work. And we ended up staying up the entire night. And I remember driving home, and the sun was rising, and I had a huge smile on my face because we had just made a music video. So I released this soon after, and I learned something really important, which is that it's much easier to get people to care about what you're doing if what you're doing is about something that they already care about. So this was a song called Hanukkah Hymn. It was about the Jewish holiday of Hanukkah, and people were looking for something to send to friends and family, and many of them found this video and sent it along. And it was fun. It was exciting. I could hardly sleep because I kept wanting to see what are the view counts and which blog shared it and which list is it on. And it was a fun few weeks. And when it all died down, I realized something remarkable, which was that more people had probably heard that one song of mine than had likely heard all of the songs on the 4 albums that I had released up to that point. So as a musician, I knew I had to make more music videos, but I was still basically in the same position. Now I knew a tiny bit about it, but not much. So I thought about this for about 6 months. And one day I had a thought, and it went like this. All right, I can't afford to hire somebody to do this, so it looks like I'm going to have to learn how to do this on my own. Maybe the best way for me to learn is to force myself to learn. So in June of 2013, I very publicly challenged myself to release 1 song and video every single month for an entire year. And I got started. So the first month I was like, all right, I wrote a song. I recorded it every month. I'd record it on my own, or I'd work with a producer. And then I think, all right, so how am I going to represent this as a video? And using the free software that came with my computer, using pictures, videos, whatever I could, I just started piecing it together, and I was experimenting and figuring it out. One month I tried an animated video. It's like, whatever, let's just try it. And I was gradually figuring it out and getting better. And in month 5 of that year, I was driving near my house, and they were just starting to build a Trader Joe's. So for those of you who don't know what Trader Joe's is, it's a supermarket chain that has a cult following. And in our home state of Colorado and our hometown of Denver, my hometown of Denver, People had been petitioning them for years to open up, and finally they were opening up, and there were going to be a number of stores, and this was going to be the first store that would open. So driving by that day, the first thought I had was, I'd better get in line right now. Followed immediately by the thought, I'm going to write a song about this. So I went home and I wrote a song, and I had a video in mind, and it was called I'm Camping Out at Trader Joe's. And the gist of this song was Denver is an amazing city. We have everything we need, except we don't have Trader Joe's. They're coming to town, so I'm going to camp out to make sure that I can get into the store. So like that first song that I had released, this tapped into something that people cared a lot about, and it got a ton of local press. And one day a reporter called me, and he said, well, I notice on your website that you have a music video production studio. And I said, well, yes, I do. Exactly. So what I didn't tell him was what that studio consisted of at the time, which was an iPhone 5, a tripod, a very cheap one I had borrowed from friends at some point and never returned, my husband, me, and 2 of our 3 kids, who at that time were ages 11 and 6. So actually, my 11-year-old almost entirely shot almost that entire video, and if you watch it, it's kind of tilted up a little bit because of that. But you can see what was happening, right? I was getting better. And then there was month 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and before I knew it, it was May of 2014. And I was elated. I had set such a difficult challenge for myself, and I had done it. I had succeeded. And then June came, and July, and August, and I was still releasing videos. And here I am 3.5 years later, and I'm still releasing monthly videos. Thank you. Because at a certain point, this stopped being a challenge, and it became a practice. It became what I prioritized, what I thought about. It became what I do. And about 2 years into this, I opened it up so that people could become my patrons. They could sponsor me per video. And when that happened, it became something much bigger than me. And I had set out to learn a skill, and I've learned that skill. Today, I not only work as a musician, I also work as a music video producer. But I became a better songwriter and singer and collaborator and music producer because the more we do things, the better we get at them. But more than that, what surprised me was that I realized in retrospect that what I had done can really be used as a template for any of us to make changes in our lives. And I want to talk about 3 steps that are open to any of us to use when we want to make a change. And the first is, if you want to make a change, set a schedule for yourself and respect it. I work in the arts, and this is not really a part of the thinking of the arts, right? We have creativity over here, we have structure over here, and we don't think about bringing them together. But even for me as an artist, having that structure was absolutely amazing. Now, there was one month in that first year, I think it was month 7 or 8, when I was going to release a song, and at the last minute, I decided I didn't want to release that song. So I had one night in which to write a new song. I stepped into my studio at 8 p.m. with the intention of not leaving until I had written a song. And I remember leaving about 6 hours later, having written one of the best songs I've ever written. It's called Raise Your Hand. That wouldn't have happened had I not been on a deadline and respected it. And you have to remember, this was a completely self-imposed deadline. Had I been one day late on my video that month, I don't think anybody would have noticed or cared. Honestly, had I not done a video, I don't think anybody would have noticed or cared. But I did. I respected it. And what I learned from this whole experience is that when I respect a deadline, inspiration always shows up. Number 2, if you want to make a change in your life, you have to be doing enough of it so that perfectionism cannot creep in. So many of us do not want to put anything out in the world unless it's perfect, right? But let me tell you, perfectionism is just fear in disguise. It's that part of you that's terrified saying, stop, don't do that, don't put it out unless it's perfect, because it knows that it will never be perfect. So I was lucky. I did not realize this on the outset, but let me tell you something. It is not possible to do a music video in 1 month that is perfect and do it the next month and the next month and the next month. It's just not possible. It's built into this thing that I just set up one day. I know that a video is done when I ask myself, given the time that I have, given the resources that I have, and given my current skill level, is this the best job that I could do? And when the answer to those questions is yes, I'm done. I send it out. I never ask myself, is this perfect? Because honestly, I've never made a video that I would consider to be perfect. Number 3, when you want to make a change in your life, you have to spend as much of your energy as possible in the process itself, and at the tiniest amount of energy on how it's received. So my process is I write songs, I make videos. You can tell I love it, right? It's the best. I love that I get to do it. It's so fun, it's so exciting, it's challenging, it's hard. It's a playground for me. I love all those things. And it's the one thing that I have control over. Once I release a video into the world, I have no control over what happens at all. I couldn't control that thing even if I wanted to. More than that, I can't even know how my music impacts other people. I can't know. Just like every single day, you walk this earth impacting people in ways that you will never understand. And every day, people walk this earth impacting you in ways that they will never understand. So the only thing you can focus on is the part you have control over, which is the process itself. So today I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you to challenge yourself to think about what trajectory do you want your life to be on? What do you want your life to look like in a year? And I'm going to challenge you to join me in this practice. Come along with me. The more the merrier. We need more people. And number 1, I want you to set a schedule for yourself. It could be daily, weekly, monthly, whatever works for what you're trying to do. And I'm not just talking to the poets, and I'm not just talking to the painters. Maybe you want to start running 5Ks. Maybe you want to learn how to cook. I don't know. Whatever it is in your life. Number 2, that schedule must be rigorous enough so there's no time for fear in the guise of perfectionism to creep in, or fear in the guise of procrastination, or those voices in our heads that say, you're not talented, you won't succeed, you're not good enough, stop, stop, stop. That's all fear, and it doesn't go away. It does not go away. But the more you work, the less you hear from those guys. And number 3, I want you as much as possible to focus on this thing you're doing, this thing that you love, which is why you're doing it, and as little as possible on any type of external validation. Because if you're going to set out anything into the world, you will get feedback. You'll get positive feedback, you'll get negative feedback, and you will be completely ignored, which is its own type of feedback. And this is so difficult, and I promise you it will get easier over time. You have to use that feedback as a way to make you better at that thing you're working on. You have to use it as a way to help you change and grow. And do not for 1 second give that feedback the power over you to decide whether you are entitled to be making this change in your life, because you are. And take it from me, right? This is the girl who couldn't sleep for 3 weeks because I had to see who was doing what with my video. I was so excited that people loved it that I couldn't sleep. Now, how do you think I felt the next time I released a video and nobody cared? That's happened. And how do you think when I released a video and it got negative feedback? That's happened too. So the more that you can stay in the process and for your own sanity, stay away from what everybody cares about it, the better off you'll be. So please join me in this practice. And if you are, find me and email me and say, hey, I'm going to do this, and I will cheer you on. And as you go, let me know how it's going, because it's tough. It's not easy, but I will cheer you on. And at the end of 1 year, I want you to say, this is what I did, and this is how it changed my life. Go for it. I dare you. Thank you.